Welcome. I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Unpopular Podcast. This is the man, the myth, the legend, Jalen Hunter. And if you would do me a favor, please subscribe to the YouTube channel or subscribe to wherever you listen to the Unpopular Podcast. I appreciate you guys' support, and it means a lot. It really does. So Thanksgiving passed, and I didn't really address it last time, but Thanksgiving passed. And how was you guys' Thanksgiving? How was your Thanksgiving? You know, it's very apparent that there are traditions in Thanksgiving that, should end. I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. Let me say that. I hope everyone was able to eat well. And honestly, it feels weird calling it Thanksgiving. And I say that because I don't really think black people celebrate Thanksgiving as what it is. To me, Thanksgiving is just the day that families, friends, whatever your close-knit group of people in your life, you guys come together and eat. You eat, watch football, talk, play spades. I don't know how to play spades, so we'll play card games, gossip about everybody else. This is just the day that you come together with your family, with your friends, and enjoy each other. I don't think anybody in the black community really celebrates it as Thanksgiving. So I hope you guys had a good, family day. I hope you guys had a good family day. But I started this with, there are traditions that happen on the day of thanks that should end. And this is where we'll start. Let me first say that Thanksgiving football is great. It's beautiful. I love watching, sitting with my plate of macaroni and cheese, mashed potatoes, turkey stuffing, all the fixings. I enjoy a big plate of that watching football on Thanksgiving. Everybody does. I mean, it's pretty, it's pretty much an honor for a lot of people playing in the Thanksgiving game because it's like the standalone games. Everybody is watching, or at least there's a TV on that has football for Thanksgiving. But there are some things in the tradition of Thanksgiving that needs to end. First and foremost, we have to stop calling it Thanksgiving. First, the history of Thanksgiving is wild, so we have to really look ourselves in the mirror should we really be calling this Thanksgiving, or maybe just the day that we spend time with our family? The name, just Washington, they changed their name. The Cleveland baseball team, they changed their name. Maybe it's time to change the name Thanksgiving. Some things that you eat. We've matured. We've matured as an organization, as a species. We've matured as people. So there's some things that for sure was acceptable back in the day that maybe we shouldn't be eating. Why, as human beings, are people still eating chitlins? First and foremost, anything that you have to clean so extensively because it stinks as bad as it does should not be ingested in the human body. You shouldn't have to cook chitlins outside. Why are we putting pig intestines in our body? Now, I understand, people eat ham, which are pigs. People eat, hot dogs, or I'm not saying but people eat pork and stuff. But why are we putting pig intestines? And we know what they be feeding pigs. We know what pigs be eating. Why are we eating chitlins? It don't make no sense. There are just some traditions that need to stop. You don't need to ask the nephew, the niece, 100,000 questions about their personal life. You don't need to do that. Okay? Let's have that stop. Another tradition that needs to stop, has to stop, is putting the Lions on Thanksgiving. I understand. Okay? I understand that is a huge tradition in the NFL. Watching the Lions, and for the Lions, I understand that is a huge game for them. Majority of the time, in fact, all the times that I've been alive, the Lions have not been in Super Bowl contention at all. So their Super Bowl, the Lions fans' Super Bowl, is usually Thanksgiving. Standalone game. Everybody watches them. They're usually the first game everybody watches the Lions play on Thanksgiving. But boy, man, that game on Thursday was rough, man. It was rough. The Lions, I'm going to do my Week 12 predictions after this, but we need to really discuss these three Thanksgiving games. And let's start with the Lions and the Bears. So the Bears beat the Lions 16 to 14. Again, I understand it's tradition. But what have the Lions done in recent memory that warrants them? I understand maybe in the past. But what has the Lions done in recent memory to make it okay to award them one of the biggest games in the NFL season year after year after year, or one of the biggest days in the NFL season year after year after year? Thursday, that game was horrible. It was so bad that I didn't even look. I'm a sports head, man. I love sports. There are people that are in my immediate circle that are heavy sports fans, and that game did not even make us look forward to the next two games. That game, like I tuned off like quick. You know, I understand that the Lions are struggling this year. You have a new coach in Dan Campbell. You have a new quarterback in Jared Goff. You have a lot of new pieces. So I understand that, that they're going to struggle. I get that. And I also understand that one thing the NFL does great at on Sundays is they hide bad teams. They'll hide a game in a 1 o'clock, unless you're in that region. They'll hide a game in the 1 o'clock era. You realize most of the bad games are never the 4:25 or never after 4:25 or definitely not Monday Night Football and definitely not Sunday Night Football. Now, of course, you could get blowouts, but the NFL would do a good job in hiding those bad teams in the 1 o'clock slot. Or they'll flex a team. They'll flex a team that's not doing good, and they'll move them to like the 1 o'clock spot, and then they'll put a good team on like Monday Night Football or something like that. The NFL was good at that. And so I currently live in the Maryland, D.C. area. So I don't get a lot of Lions games. Now, of course, I watch the condensed games for the podcast. I watch the highlights. But I don't get a full serving of Lions football. And boy, I thought it was hard for me being a Washington football team fan. The recent history that the Washington team has had. I thought that it was tough being a fan of that team. But again, I understand that there's a lot of new things, but this is the NFL. This is the NFL, and when you go down to college a little bit, not as much college, but when you go down to high school, middle school, pee-wee football, they usually say effort can win you games. That's usually, some of the worst teams in the region or whatever can still win a couple games because they give a lot of effort. They're going to do the dirty things, or they're going to do the things that other teams won't do, or they're going to scrap and fight harder than any other team. That's going to win you some games in the lower level, like lower levels of football. And while effort is important in the NFL and college, let's just stick with the NFL. Yes, effort is very important in the NFL, but the NFL is when talent shines. You can have all the effort in the world, you still not beating Aaron Rodgers, or Aaron Rodgers still on the other side, and you're at an extreme disadvantage. the praise that the Lions have been receiving all year is that they play hard. I've said it multiple times on this podcast. The Lions play hard. Play really hard. And playing hard keeps them in games. Or, yeah, keeps them in games, but they're still 0-10-1. So, my praise of Dan Campbell for this entire season has been, yeah, he's not really winning games, but the team playing hard for him. The team, you can tell that they want to play for Dan Campbell. Yeah, there gets to a point where that can't be enough. And I don't think it's enough for the Lions or whatever, but that can't be enough. The Lions are not good. The Lions are not good defensively. The Lions are not good offensively. The Lions are not good head coached. The Lions are not good in general. Now, yes, I understand this is Dan Campbell's first year, but the Lions aren't good. Like, they're not good. And bringing it full circle, it's time to stop. Like, there's traditions that need to die. We threw the former Washington football team. We threw that name out because it was disrespectful, and it was offensive. The Cleveland baseball team. We threw that old name out because it was offensive. Kansas City, that name's coming soon, or that name change possibly could be coming soon. Florida State, that name change could be coming soon. What I'm saying is, it's time to adapt. It's time to change. People do not want to continue to see the Lions play on Thanksgiving because they're not good. They know what the outcome's going to be. I don't remember the last time the Lions won on Thanksgiving. It could be recent. I don't know. But I do not remember the last time. I think the last time the Lions probably won on Thanksgiving, Megatron was playing, I believe. And to the Dan Campbell effort, it has to be more than effort. I understand this is Dan Campbell's first year. It has to be more than effort, you know. It can't just be, oh, they play hard for him. Yeah, it has to be smart play. And the Lions are not a good team in any aspect. Any. And I don't know why it's kind of like I feel bad for London. I feel bad for London because the NFL doesn't send no good teams over to London. Like, they'll send the Dolphins, they'll send the Falcons, they'll send the Jaguars. Like, they don't send. London's never gonna watch Tom Brady play. London's never gonna see, as far as like in person, they're never gonna see a Tom Brady game. They're never gonna send the Bucks. They're never gonna send Green Bay. They're never gonna send Baltimore. They're never gonna send Kansas City Chiefs. I just feel bad for London. I understand the whole integration thing, but why are you giving them the trash teams, man? Same with Thanksgiving. I understand the tradition that the Lions hold for Thanksgiving, but why are we giving them a platform to display the type of football that they play? Oh man, and don't let's go over to the Bears side. I understand that, Justin Fields didn't play, so Andy Dalton was your starting quarterback, but I don't feel like the outcome would have been any better if Justin Fields was playing. The Bears, Khalil Mack is out for the season. The Bears aren't good either, and that's very unfortunate. Ungood, because this is a talented team. Allen Robinson, David Montgomery, some of the pieces that they have on defense. This is a good team. It's just I don't know what it is. That's why I think that now there were reports before the game, in the days leading up to it, saying that Matt Nagy was going to be fired after Thanksgiving. Now, they're having reports after saying that as unlikely, but I think that Matt Nagy, man, his days are hella numbered. Because the difference between Matt Nagy and Dan Campbell, and this it kind of goes to what I just said, man. The difference is the Lions aren't good, but the Lions at least look like they want to play for Dan Campbell. They do play hard. That's the only sense that, playing hard is important in the NFL. Not saying that it's not important, but playing hard is a stat in the NFL is only when, we're talking about, do the players look like they want to play for that coach? I want to say, hey, do the players look engaged? Do the players look like they want to play for said coach? And the Lions, even though they're not good, like at all, they do look like they're listening to Dan Campbell. They do look like that they, want to play for Dan Campbell. The Bears, that team does not look like they want to play for Matt Nagy at all. And that's why I think his days, the writing is pretty much on the wall for Matt Nagy. The writing is pretty much on the wall for the Bears and their head coaching situation, because, like, they don't even look like they want to play. Andy Dalton's not good, which is why I always found it. I understand he has to play right now due to injury, but I always found it, like, why is that? Like, I was one of those people saying, okay, it makes sense to start the season with Andy Dalton because Andy Dalton's a veteran. Justin Fields is not ready to play. I understand that. But it was very apparent early that, yes, Andy Dalton is not it. So where's the pivot? I pivoted. I said, yeah, it may be time for Justin Fields. He may not be ready, but the one thing that you were hoping was Andy Dalton wasn't going to give you a lot of turnovers. Andy Dalton was going to play at least well in the red zone. That has not happened yet. And the only reason why the Bears won 16-14 is because they were playing a lesser team in the Detroit Lions. If they would have played anybody that had any semblance of good in them, they would have got destroyed. And so I do think that, it's over with for Matt Nagy, at least at the end of the season, because I don't think that the Bears are going to fire him mid-season. I do think that is pretty much over with for him because the team doesn't seem like they're responding to him, or they're just not making any adjustments, and that is on the coaching. Yeah, I'm one of those people that I don't like putting it all on the coach because, like, the coach isn't out there on the field, the coach isn't out there on the court. I don't like putting it on the coach. But one thing that you do see, or the one thing that the coach has a direct impact on, is adjustments. And it doesn't look like the Bears make any adjustments at all. And yeah, man, like, again, traditions, there are traditions that need to end. Chitlins need to end on Thanksgiving. Waiting for everyone to show up to eat needs to end. Hey, bro, I've been here since 1. You told me dinner / lunch / dinner, or Thanksgiving. Let's say you told me the dinner starts at 3. Why are we waiting for Aunt Jackie to come? Like, why are we waiting for that? And Aunt Jackie doesn't show up till 7. No, bro. If you said we're eating at 3, it don't matter who's there. Or it don't matter who's not there. We're eating at 3. I'm not waiting for Aunt Jackie and Uncle Richard to show up at 7. Why are we still doing green bean casseroles? I think that's a cultural thing. So if you like green bean casseroles, rock out. But no. Yo, I shouts out to John Madden, and we'll talk about the Raiders in a second. But the turducken is one of the most unhealthy things in the world. I'm glad that that wasn't one of those things that were just like adopted everywhere, So I say all that to say, man, we don't need to continue to watch the Lions play on Thanksgiving. And the Bears-Lions game was not good, not even in the slightest. So, which is good, man, cause that's not good. But what was good was the next game, and that was the Raiders and the Cowboys. The Raiders beat the Cowboys 36-33. This was a good game, and this game, this game kind of infuriated me, but a good infuriate, you know? Like, I was upset, but in a good way, because one, what's his name? Anthony Brown for the Cowboys. I would be surprised if he has a job by Sunday. That man, I think he had 4 pass interference calls on him for the Cowboys. 4 pass interference, and every single one of those pass interference calls were in big moments. They lost the game because of that. Well, not solely because of that, but that was a big reason why they lost the game, because he don't know how to not hold. So, but this is why this game infuriated me. Because, one, it infuriated me for both sides of the ball. Let's start with the Cowboys side. The Cowboys, this is one of those games, and we as fans, we say all the time, you're not going to get everything. Everything's not going to be perfect. Everything in football, it's very rare that everything's perfect. And as a good quarterback or as a good team, how do you adapt when things are not 100% perfect? Meaning, you know, we kill Baker Mayfield because he struggles when everything's not perfect. When he doesn't have, you know, 2 great running backs behind him, when he doesn't have all his wide receiver core, when his defense is struggling, Baker Mayfield struggles mightily. But if everything is perfect, Baker Mayfield looks like a number 1 overall quarterback, or a number 1 overall quarterback. So we talk about how do quarterbacks adapt when things are not perfect. Nothing was perfect for the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. You know, the CeeDee Lamb was out due to concussion. Amari Cooper was out. They were missing defense. You know, Randy Gregory's still out. DeMarcus Lawrence is still out. It wasn't perfect. But how was Dak Prescott going to respond? You still had Dalton Schultz. You still had Michael Gallup. You still had Wilson. Noah Brown. He caught a couple passes. You still had Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard. How were the Cowboys going to adjust? Or how was Dak Prescott going to adjust? And Dak Prescott, don't let it fool you, man. Like, you can look at the stats. Let me see. If we just look at the stats, Dak Prescott threw for, you know, he was 32 for 47, 375 yards, and he threw for 2 touchdowns, no interception. But Dak Prescott didn't have the best game. And I'm not putting this all on Dak Prescott, but I'm just putting the blame at Dak Prescott's feet that is warranted for him. You know, he had a couple passes that were errant passes. He had a couple key passes. I understand that happens during the game, but he had a couple key passes that were errant passes. He had a couple key passes that, you know, he like the big play at the end with Noah Brown. That was behind Noah Brown, and it was low. Noah Brown was open. If you would have just hit it to him in his stride, he would have had the first down, and the game could have ended differently. So Dak Prescott, you know, he hasn't looked like, well, let me say, he hasn't looked 100% great like he did the beginning of the season, with everything not going right, with, you know, Amari Cooper not being there, CeeDee Lamb not being there. Now, you can make an excuse saying, hey, okay, his top receivers weren't there. Tyron Smith came back from injury, and he didn't look the best. And in fact, he had a big holding call, or holding penalty go against him. So you can say that, but again, we've seen Lamar Jackson play incredible this year, without the running back core that he thought he was going to have coming into the season, or his defense that he thought he was going to have going into the season. We saw Aaron Rodgers go into Arizona and win without his top right. Hell, Aaron Rodgers, I do not put the blame on Aaron Rodgers for losing that game or against Minnesota, because he had nothing really. Well, I'm not gonna say nothing, but he didn't have like any of his top targets, and on defense. His defense was like decimated. And Aaron Rodgers was still balling. Aaron Rodgers didn't have like his top wide receivers when they went to Arizona, and he still won. It's just, what do you do? And what do you do when things aren't perfect? Like, what do you do when you have to work with what you have to work with? And Dak Prescott has not been that good. Another player that I didn't, Ezekiel Elliott. I understand, he caught 6 passes for 26 yards. And Tony Pollard caught 4 passes for 32 yards. And Ezekiel Elliott did have a touchdown, but he had 9 carries for 25 yards. Don't get me wrong. The Raiders' defense isn't world beaters. They're not the greatest, but they are decent to stopping the run. But you're Ezekiel Elliott, or you're the running Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard. You have to give your team more than what you gave them. No, bro, Tony Pollard had 10 carries for 36 yards. Now, I also understand that, how the Cowboys are kind of built. It's more of a pass heavy team, and that's a lot with Mark McCarthy. But as Ezekiel is supposed to be one of the top. Well, for a minute, Ezekiel was one of the top backs in the league. I don't think he's there now, but you need to give your team, or you need to help the team a lot more. Tony Pollard, you need to help the team a lot more. This was a bad loss for Cowboys, man. This was a bad loss because the NFC East is starting to surge. You see Washington's looking good. I think they have 2 straight wins, and they may win Monday Night Football. The Eagles are kind of surging right now, and their schedule's getting a little easier. I mean, they think they have to play the Giants, and we know how the Giants are. Yes, it's to me right now, the Cowboys are still in the driver's seat as far as winning the NFC East, but they were kind of like in full, like, you could be comfortable because it didn't look like anything was going to go happen with Washington. It didn't have anything, like there was no other team that was kind of nipping at their backs. Now that the Cowboys are kind of on kind of losing these games, which they should win, and the other teams in the NFC East outside the Giants are kind of surging. Like, now you're going to have to look back, and you're going to have to say, okay, well, now these games, I understand it's 7-4, but again, Washington's surging, Philly's surging, and that's a bad loss. This is one of those losses that you're at home on Thanksgiving, and we'll talk about the Raiders in a second, but the Raiders lose Nassib, they lose Waller in the game, and I think they lose one of their top top wide receivers, and you still lose the game. This was a bad loss for the Cowboys, man. A bad loss for the Cowboys. And this is another reason why this was infuriating to me. And let's go to the Raiders side. This was a great win for Derek Carr. He threw for 373 yards, 1 touchdown. And the thing is, it wasn't the fact that he threw for 373 yards, because, of course, him and Dak's stats were pretty much identical. It's Derek Carr made big plays at big moments. Now, a lot of it was help from the defense, the Cowboys defense, because they had brutal holding calls, and I don't understand what the hell they were doing at the end of the game. Like, why didn't you just let the clock? The game would not have been as close if you just let the clock go to 2-minute warning. I don't know why you're trying to run a play before the 2-minute warning. It doesn't make sense, especially when the Cowboys have 2 touchdowns. Like, you want to run as much clock. Like, I don't understand what that was. But the reason why this game infuriated me so much is because of the Raiders. The Raiders show that the Raiders are so inconsistent. Now I understand a lot is going on with them, with John Gruden and Henry Ruggs and that other, I think it was a wide receiver. The Raiders are so inconsistent. the Raiders look incredible one week and then look horrible the next, which is why it's so hard to gauge or to put a ranking on the Raiders, because the Raiders they're a really good team. You still have Derek Carr. You still have, when healthy, Darren Waller, which I hope he's better with his knee. You still have Josh Jacobs, who was incredible. But they're so inconsistent, and that's what frustrates me. The Raiders were incredible. Big play. Their kicker was incredible. He kicked the game winning in overtime. The Raiders should be the Raiders record should be better than 6-5. That's I guess that's where I'm kind of alluding to. The Raiders record should be a lot better than 6-5, and it's not. But I'm just gonna talk about, Thanksgiving was good. Derek Carr showed why. Derek Carr is inconsistent as well, but Derek Carr was great. The Raiders were good, and especially, and you saw that Derek Carr was able to adapt when things didn't go as well. Like I said, you lose Darren Waller, your number one option, to a knee injury. You lose a wide receiver. You lose a whole Carl Nassib, the defense. You lose a couple players on defense. And it's like, how do you adjust? And Derek Carr just did a fabulous job. So this was a great win for the Raiders. This was a bad loss for the Cowboys. And that's that. And then we get to the last game, which was the Bills and the Bills and the Saints. And the Bills destroyed the Saints 31-6. There doesn't need to be much analysis on this one. The Bills are a better team than the Saints right now. The Saints are in flux because of their quarterback position. Again, coming into the season, they already had questions. There was a lot of question marks with the Saints. How is Jameis Winston going to do? Do you start Jameis Winston or do you start Taysom Hill? What's going to happen with Michael Thomas situation? There was a lot of questions. We don't have Drew Brees anymore, so how is the team going to adapt? There was a lot of questions, and the last thing that you want is pile on more questions within the season. Jameis Winston goes out. Taysom Hill goes out. Alvin Kamara is out now. Mark Ingram's out. Michael Thomas is out for the season. So it's just a team. I can't really assess the Saints. Their defense was, even though it was 31-6, their defense played the best that they could. It was just they were continuously on the field because Trevor Siemian and that offense. Now, the offense, again, was decimated, man. No Alvin Kamara, no Jameis Winston, no Taysom Hill, even though Taysom Hill I don't think was going to be able to take them from obscurity on this one. It was, the Saints are just in a confusing time in their franchise right now. Like, they don't know you really don't know what's going to happen. And the Bills, it's kind of hard to assess the Bills because, again, the Bills are one of those teams where they didn't have the best game last night, even though, they won 31-6. They didn't have the best game. I think Josh Allen threw 2 picks, and I think that if he would have done that, or if the Bills would have played the same game that they played that they played on Thanksgiving, if they would have played that against a better team, maybe a Chiefs, maybe the Raiders, if they would have played that game, they would have lost. I just think there's a lot going on with the Saints right now, so it's kind of hard you can't really evaluate them because they got a lot going on. But I'm not going to take away from the Bills win. The Bills are now 7-4, and they won. Josh Allen did look okay. It's just, even though he got a touchdown, I think that they still are trying to sharpen the relationship between Josh Allen and Diggs. It was incredible last year, but it just hasn't really been clicking this year. Or the offense in general hasn't really been clicking this year. So I think that's what they're trying to work on now. And I think if they would have played the same way they played last or Thanksgiving, against a better team, they probably would have lost. I mean, Josh Allen, he did have 4 touchdowns. He only threw for 260 yards, but he had 2 interceptions, and they were bad interceptions too. One of them was a really good, catch. I think it was in the red zone, and the other one was just a bad pass. So, shouts out to, again, I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. Those were the Thanksgiving games. And so let's go and predict the rest of week 12. Let's start with, to me, I think probably the best game of the week, and that is the Buccaneers at Colts. The Colts are surging right now. The Colts are playing incredible. Jonathan Taylor right now, to me, is in the MVP conversation. Their defense, the Colts defense has played incredible, led by DeForest Buckner and Darius Leonard. And the Bucks, I mean, Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Gronk's back. I'm sorry. Chris Godwin. I think it's going to be a good game. I'm actually going to go with the Colts with this one. I think that the Colts are surging at the right time. Carson Wentz has been good. He has not lost them any game since probably the Titans. I think that they're going to win. I think the Colts are just we need to see what happens with Villa Veda if he's going to play. Because I think that the biggest goal is to slow down Jonathan Taylor. But Carson Wentz can kind of carve up, if he does now at his best, he can carve up the secondary for the Bucks because they're really thin at that position. I think that the defense is going to give Tom Brady fits. So I have the Colts winning that one. Jets at Texans. I have the Texans. I think Tyrod Taylor is now. Joe Flacco's hurt. Mike White's hurt. You have what's his name? You have Zach Wilson coming back. Elijah Moore. He's been really good. But I think the Texans are just a better team, even though they're both not that good. And I trust Tyrod Taylor more than I trust Zach Wilson right now. So I have the Texans winning that. Eagles at Giants. I have the Eagles. The Eagles are playing really good right now. They're playing good football. I trust Jalen Hurts more than I trust Daniel Jones. And we're not gonna do it today, but we're gonna have a serious conversation about the Giants and the lack of production that they're getting from people that they thought they were going to get it from. So I have the Eagles winning that one. Panthers at Dolphins. I have the Panthers. I think that this is, this is a big game this is the second game back, or the second game that Cam Newton will be starting, coming back, or Cam Newton will be starting for the Panthers. And I think that this is going to be a win. I think that he had a really good chance of winning, or a really good shot of winning last week. It just didn't come through. I think that he has a better shot this week against the Dolphins. Now, the Dolphins' defense has been playing better of recent weeks, but I just think that the Panthers are going to be a lot better with Cam, with Christian McCaffrey. Robbie Anderson's getting more involved now with Cam being there. So is DJ Moore. I have the Panthers winning that one. Titans at Patriots. I have the Patriots winning that. I think that the Patriots, especially defensively, they're going to see, or they're going to know how to put Ryan Tannehill in position that he doesn't want to be in, especially with, Derrick Henry being gone. And the Patriots are playing really good. Mac Jones is playing well. That running game, the defense, everything's playing, everything's been going well for the past few weeks for the Patriots. So I have the Patriots winning that. And I think that's a big game for both teams, honestly. Titans, you want to get back on track after losing last week. And the Patriots, you want to continue to roll, and you want to continue to build momentum going into the playoffs. So I have the Patriots winning that one. Steelers at Bengals. I have the Bengals. Joe Burrow is better than Big Ben right now. We don't know if TJ Watt's gonna play. We don't know if Minkah Fitzpatrick's coming back. We don't know if Joe Hayden's coming back right now. And then I just don't. the Steelers did squeak out a win. The Steelers lost to the Chargers and a young quarterback in Justin Herbert, and I think they're going to lose to the Bengals with, it's just a young team. Joe Herbert, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. I have the Bengals winning that one. Falcons at Jaguars. I have the Falcons. The Jaguars are garbage. The Falcons are garbage too, but I at least right now in their games, I trust Matt Ryan more than I trust Trevor Lawrence. So Chargers at Broncos. I have the Chargers winning that one. Justin Herbert is better than Teddy Bridgewater. That's pretty much it. Rams at Packers. I think this is going to be a great game. I'm going to go with the Rams because I don't know how the foot injury is going. Did you see Aaron Rodgers putting his foot up on camera? Like, I understand why he did that. He's been getting heat for the whole vaccination thing, so he wants to be as clear as possible. I get it. But I just don't know how the foot is going to, foot injury or broken toe, how that's going to affect Aaron Rodgers. And there's still key pieces on the defense missing. I think that's going to be a good game, though. But however, the Rams, that is a West Coast team, and they don't really do good with cold. So, but I'm going to go with the Rams. So I have the Rams winning that one. Vikings at 49ers. I actually have the Vikings. I don't know, man. Every time I put my faith in the 49ers this year, they've let me down. Even though they've had some good games. Deebo Samuels has been really good. Jimmy G has kept him afloat. Right now the Vikings are playing better to me than the 49ers. I think which is crazy for me to say. Right now, I trust Kirk Cousins more than I trust Jimmy G. So I have the Vikings winning that one. Sunday Night Football, Browns at Ravens. I have the Ravens, but the Browns need to win this game. The talk that's come out of the Browns last few weeks with Baker and the fans, the Browns need this win. Especially after Odell, and now they did win a game after Odell, but they haven't looked good really since. Now I'm not saying they look good with Odell, but the Browns need this win. But I think the Ravens are going to win. Lamar Jackson's coming back from an illness. He's excited to play. We remember last year when the Browns played the Ravens. And that was I had the cramps game from Lamar Jackson. I don't know, but I have the Ravens winning, but I think that the Browns need this win. And then you have Monday Night Football. You have Seattle at Washington. I'm actually going to be at this game. I'm working this game, actually. I actually have Washington. I have Washington because Seattle just hasn't looked right since Russell Wilson's come back now. This will be week 3 since he come back. And I think that if Russell Wilson gets back to, or, gets anywhere closer back to the Russell Wilson that we remember, then, yeah, he definitely will be shredding the Washington defense. But he hasn't looked good. The Seattle hasn't looked good since he got back. And Washington had 2-game win streak. They looked really good against the Bucs. They looked incredible against the Carolina Panthers. And now you have Seattle coming to town. So I have Washington winning that game. Who's your favorite team, and who do you have winning? And what are your predictions? What are some crazy predictions that you have going into week 12? So, I want to hear from you. Put in the comments. And before we go, I said it before, and I'll just reiterate that this is a very unique season in college basketball, and it's very unique because usually you'll get one or two things. You'll get one great team, and then everybody else is just okay, or you'll get a season where college basketball is down. Not saying everyone sucks, but the playing field is even because no one has a great team. There's maybe some teams were supposed to be great, like maybe Duke was supposed to be great or Kentucky was supposed to be great, but they just weren't. So, or North Carolina is supposed to be great, but they just weren't. So everyone, the playing field is even because there's not really a great team. This is a really unique year because there are a plethora of great teams there, and this is one of those seasons where anybody could win, but not because the competition isn't that good. It's because there are so many great teams. Like Gonzaga is with Chet Holmgren. They look incredible. UCLA lost to Gonzaga, but they look good. Purdue. I could see Duke winning. I could see Baylor winning. I could see Memphis winning. I could see even though Alabama did just lose to Iona, I could see Alabama winning. I could see Houston. Now it's very, very, very early, but hell, and they're 3-2. But once the season starts really kicking off, Michigan State Michigan can make some noise. Auburn at 19 can make some noise. Like, there are so many great teams. Kansas, Baylor. It's great. And I said this before, and I'll say this to end the show. If Gonzaga doesn't win this year, now I'm not saying because, nobody else is good, but Gonzaga brings back a lot of their players from last year. Drew Timmy's back. Their point guard's back. They brought a lot of good players. And then you add Chet Holmgren, who could very well be the number 1 overall pick in the draft. If they don't win this year, and I know I said this last year with Jalen Suggs and how they were undefeated until they got to the, or undefeated, yeah, or they only had like one loss. No, one undefeated until they got to the national championship when they lost to Baylor. If Gonzaga does not win this year, they will never win. Drew Timmy's playing out of his mind. Chet Holmgren's playing out of his mind. That team is playing good. If they don't win this year, they're never winning. So, and there you have it. That has been today's episode of the Unpopular Podcast. I appreciate you guys. Next week I will be gone. I will be off. There will be no episode on Wednesday or Saturday next week because I am moving. And because I am moving, I have to break down the set. We're moving. So I'm going to, I'm starting to move next week, so I won't be here. I appreciate you guys for supporting me. I'm just letting you guys know I will not be here next week because I will be moving. So there'll be a lot going on. I don't really have time. And I'm not moving from like one room to the next. I'm moving to like a whole nother home. So, and I have to build the setup again. So I will not be here next week. In the meantime, you can go watch past episodes or go listen to past episodes. You can comment, and I'll definitely be able to communicate with you guys. But I appreciate you guys. If you want an Unpopular Podcast shirt, hoodie, sweater, long sleeve, the link is in the description below. I have multiple different designs, multiple different colors. Get what you want, get what you need. The link is in the description. Also, please subscribe to the YouTube channel or subscribe to wherever you listen. I appreciate you guys' support. It means a lot. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Again, I hope you guys have a great holidays. Have a great week next week. I will see you not next week, but the week after. Until next time, much love.